Welcome to adding a skybox. In this video you will add a skybox to our scene. Use that skybox as the primary light source for the whole scene. So just as an example, we have Suzanne the monkey sat on a plane here lit by one lamp. Now the moment we add a skybox to that, it becomes a much more vibrant image and much more interesting, and the whole lighting in the scene is done by that skybox plus the original lamp that was in the scene. So now we've got an idea of what we're going to do, let's hop straight on over into Blender. Okay, so now we're over in Blender. The first thing I'm going to make sure that I do, because I'm not sure I've done it yet, is save my file. Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and open up a new file. So I'm going to go File, New, and Reload Startup File. Because we're about to play with some stuff and I don't want us to break our bunny at this point in time. So we've got our default cube here. We'll use that as the object in our scene. I'm just going to lift that up a little and finally create a mesh plane underneath. So I'm just going to add a plane and scale it up. Excellent. So it's nice and big. And I'm perhaps going to grab that and just lower it down ever so slightly. And let's just quickly render that to see how that's looking so far. I'm in cycles render for this one, by the way, just to make sure you're aware. And I'm just going to position the camera so we can see a bit more of the sky. So in the outliner, I know it's a bit cramped on my screen here, in the outliner I'm going to select the camera. In the 3D view, I'm going to open up the properties pane with the N key and scroll down here to, I need to be in the camera view, so view camera, and then I'm going to lock camera to view. That's just going to allow me to move about quite freely and position the camera where I want it to be, and I do want to see a bit of the background as well. And I'm going to render that again. Excellent, so we've got all of this lot going on here. Now, in order to add a skybox, there are a couple of ways of doing this, but the way we're going to do it is actually add an image to the world around. So, looking at that, we're looking at something called the world. So, in the properties tab over here, there's a picture of a little world. And if we click on that, it gives us a series of options. Now at the moment we are focused primarily on where it says surface, and at the moment it's got a colour that is grey. Now if you change the colour of that, nothing will happen here because this is a rendered view, but I'm going to hop over here, not lock the camera to the view and just zoom in ever so slightly and just switch to render to see what's happening. So this colour here actually changes the colour of the world, the entire background. Everything apart from the plane is going to be this orangey colour. So what we can do is replace that colour with an image. And there are two types of images that make it very good for backgrounds like the one we're going to use. There's an angular image, and I can't remember the other one. Equatorial, no, we'll find out in a few moments. Okay, so I'm going to click on use nodes there, and it needs to be a background, which is great. And on colour, I'm going to click the little dot to the right here, and loads of options here, and environment texture is the one that we want. Now when you select environment texture, it's going to go that horrible pink, which means there's not a texture applied yet. And here we go. Equirectangular, that's the word I was thinking of. Equirectangular and mirrorball, or angular projection, angle view, there's loads of different names for them. You'll notice the difference between the two of them. One essentially is a large, stretched out, slightly distorted rectangle, and one looks like a sphere. And we'll have a look at both of these and see how they turn out. So let's start with mirrorball, and in your asset pack, if you've not downloaded it, please hop back to the assets lecture now and go grab your asset pack. And I'm going to go to open, and I'm going to go find my assets. They'll be slightly different to where you guys store yours. And section assets, and we have angular map. So we're going to select angular map 24 JPEG. Excellent. Now you see straight away the scene has changed completely, and in fact it looks a lot more natural. Now one thing to bear in mind here is because the light is coming from the scene around us, it's going to be a bit noisier than just from a simple lamp. So you will have to increase your samples when using this type of lighting to get a comparatively smooth image compared to using a lamp. Now this is a mirror ball, and as you can see, if I hop out of the camera here, and well, anywhere will do, so let's just move around, we've now got a world around us. It looks a bit weird on certain areas. There seems to be a hole or a point here. Now this will depend on the quality of your image that you're using. These are quite basic images, and it works pretty well, providing you're not looking that way. That looks very ominous. Now if we change mirror ball to equi-rectangular, you can see it doesn't look right at all. You end up with, oh, I'm looking through my plane at the moment, zoom away, we've got that in there and that there. Now if we go and open and actually select this item here, so on the file menu here, well, what's this one called? I've forgotten. The file browser. On this file browser header, you've got these 4 pages next to one another that show us images, and this is a great way of seeing that the angular map is this kind of spherical thing, and that's the mirror ball selection, and the equi-rectangular ones are the sky moonscape here and sky photo. Now let's go ahead and apply one of those. Wow, that looks pretty awesome. And if we zoom back into our object, we see that the colour has changed. Because it's primarily blue, we've actually got ourselves a blue light cast on the rest of our scene. Now if we scroll down a little further in the properties, I'm just going to make this window a little bit bigger for us, you've got this strength here, so you can actually make the light coming from that background stronger or weaker. So this nighttime scene, for instance, obviously if we set it to 0, there is no background, no light emitted. But obviously with a nighttime scene, it wouldn't, well, I say it wouldn't, it probably wouldn't be that bright. So we can play with the figures here and lower it down to maybe 0.01, that's probably too low, let's try 0.05, and you can tinker with these to your heart's delight. In fact, there's a moon there, so it would be quite cool to have the light coming from that direction. How awesome is that? Right, I feel a challenge for you guys coming up. Okay, I'd like you to add a skybox to our scene. So add a skybox to our bunny. Now there are a couple of options to choose from supplied in the asset pack. Now please feel free to try your own photos or other sky maps you have. So just to give you an idea what I'm shooting for, I'm going to be shooting for something along these lines. Bit of a grey murky day, pretty typical day in England. Anyway, pause the video now and give that a go. Okay guys, welcome back. Let's go ahead and create our skybox. Okay, so let's go and open up our bunny. Now, once this is open, obviously the last thing we rendered here was the eye, and it doesn't show any image, so I'm going to hop into my 3D view. Oh, and we've only got the eye there. I'm going to unhide everything for the moment, just so I can see what's going on the larger picture. We're going to have to switch around to a different camera, rather than just the eye camera. Oh, we're still moving the eye cam, so I'll turn off that. And let's see if this camera will do the 18mm one is probably the one that I want. So I'm going to cameras and set the camera as the active object. Yes, there's a good bit of the background in there, and that's what we want to see. I'm not going to render this at the moment because I've done this particular view before, and that's going to take a few moments to render. But what I am going to do is go straight to the world settings, and I'm going to add. I'm going to click on Use Nodes. It is a background, that's absolutely fine. The colour, well, I'm going to select an environment texture. I'm going to do the equi-rectangular one, which is fine. I'm going to open that up, go to my section assets, and I've got one called Sky Photo 3, and I'm going to pick that one. I'm just going to hop here into rendered mode in the viewport shading and see how that looks. And we've got some clouds coming out there. That's looking pretty good. Let's just move away from here and see how it's mapped out. That's fine. It looks like a typical British day actually. It looks quite stormy. I'm quite happy with that. Excellent. How did you guys get on? Of course, the final thing to do here is render it, of course. So let's go and hit the render button. And let's make this window a little bit bigger so I can see what's going on. Now, I'd love to see what you guys have come up with. Really look forward to seeing how your rabbits are turning out. Really interested in how this one's going to turn out as well. We can already see straight away that the fur itself has taken on a much brighter, more vibrant appearance. So this is a great bit of lighting. Of course, the lighting is now coming from all around our bunny rather than just a one lamp that was in the scene before. So do render out your bunny. Please share it in the discussion so I can see how you guys are getting on, and I will see you in the next lecture.